What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is July 30th of 2020. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's video, I want to spend some time to not only take a look back at the month in review and take a look over what happened in July, as well as take a look into what's going to be happening or what we're watching going into the month of August. We've had a phenomenal month so far, gold breaking out to new all-time highs, silver rallying at rapid paces, Bitcoin breaking past resistance, and altcoins leading the way in the rally. So we've got lots of things to discuss and more right after our quick sponsor. Our sponsor for today's episode is Bitpanda Pro. Bitpanda Pro is the secure European exchange for crypto to fiat markets. Bitpanda has been offering secure, straightforward, and easy access to the cryptocurrency market in Europe for over 5 years and wants to offer the same service to more experienced traders, users using trading bots, and other advanced clients like cryptocurrency businesses and institutional investors. With the steady addition of more and more crypto to fiat trading pairs, Bitpanda Pro has made itself a convenient, secure, and trustworthy exchange to onboard or cash out easily. Check out the link down below in the description to learn more. Alright, everyone, so to start off here, I want to go ahead and, as I mentioned, take a look back over this past month. July has probably been the best month that I've seen as an investor, and many of you have possibly seen as an investor in quite some time if you've been allocated to cryptocurrencies as well as precious metals. It's been phenomenal. Markets are showing all kinds of signs of optimism in regards to crypto and precious metals. And now we're starting to see a rapid outpace against equities, which have been really leading the way for the last few months. So again, now that we are obviously seeing winners here, many of you who are subscribed to the Dash report, we're riding on the wave of Kava, RLC, a lot of the cryptos we talked about. Either way, though, it really didn't matter. Like, if you were, so long as you were focused on the two markets we've been discussing of enterprise blockchain, which deals with protocols or oracles or plays like Unibright. Outside of that as well, taking a look into the DeFi space and looking at the governance tokens, looking at a lot of the other different types of utility tokens tied to these platforms. All in all, you won out. It was a great month. And because of that, we need to focus on whether or not that needs to be, where we're positioned this time around, or if there's other things we need to be watching as well. So let's just go ahead and start off here first and foremost and begin reviewing for the outlook to August. So we've got obviously a phenomenal breakout in Bitcoin. Over the last 2 weeks, we've climbed from a price range at the open of this week around 9,200 all the way up here to a relative high here of 11,400. So this is really phenomenal to see 2 weeks in a row where we're almost in double-digit territory for Bitcoin on a weekly performance. This is great, and this is also, again, proof that we were confident for the months of consolidation. Unlike the two previous highs here, the months of consolidation against this line of resistance, and it was just waiting to press and coil up here. So I would say don't even bet on an opportunity of Bitcoin going to 6K. If you had any of those bearish predictions, guys, we've broken through the resistance. This is the first time since 2017, and we've seen historically, not just in crypto markets, but also in traditional markets like gold, when you pop above that resistance, the only thing that bears can hope for is that this is going to come down to the line of resistance or previous resistance and make it support. Quite frankly, though, I'm not waiting around to see if that's going to happen. There's a possibility. I'm not looking to trade or alter my positions here. The only thing I'm doing is going in and out of crypto, in this case likely from Bitcoin to other altcoins in this case. Now, speaking solely on Bitcoin here, the thing you're going to want to watch for is maybe a possible retest down here, but I would say something much more likely to happen is that we, for example, continue climbing a little bit, set a pullback, right? We're setting in higher highs and higher lows, right? This cycle is going to take a little while to eventually get back above its highs, and this is why, I basically talked about how I expect sometime in Q1 of 2020 to be where we actually smash through this resistance at 20K. Now, the line I drew here is very generic. I have no doubt there's a chance that we could push more sideways, for a few months, consolidate against this 20K resistance, and then really pop through. Who really knows what's going to happen? That's months out. All I want to say, though, is in the short term, as I emphasized, we want to set in August a higher relative high. So the relative highs were down here around 12,000. We're very close to possibly being able to set one at 13,000 here over the next month. We have plenty of time to do it, and after that we want to set in a higher low in this case to consolidate and basically showcase that we're holding the majority of the gains and that we've very clearly broken through resistance and we're going in for the continued cycle. Second thing as well, altcoin dominance. I want to continue to see higher levels of altcoin dominance. Now that we've had this pullback here, it does provide an opportunity for some bulls who had missed out on a lot of this kind of exponential portion of the rally to get back in. A lot of the DeFi plays, the enterprise blockchains, all kinds of different plays that we've been watching, or some of which we traded and took some profits on, do look pretty favorable at these levels. Will the small caps and mid caps be the leaders? I think they will in the long term because they obviously have the market to scale and they're doing some very unique things. But at the same time, the major thing to focus on is, I think, really a lot of the large caps and a lot of the established protocols. So some of the kind of new emerging protocols, I know many of you are going to be excited for me to say this, plays like Cardano, plays like Tezos, some of the other ones alongside some of the large caps like Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP. This is going to be our major focus here. And speaking about Litecoin and some of the kind of more established cryptos, just take a look at the USD chart here on the logarithmic. We're taking a look at the weekly chart. Just like Bitcoin, and just like Ethereum, building up long-term technical formations. Litecoin has very clear points of resistance and support. And it looks like here, if you really take a look at the log chart, we just need to basically get above $70. We could really start to see this take off. Again, we usually always look at the Bitcoin chart. Again, I think that's very important to look at the Litecoin to Bitcoin ratio, similar to the gold to silver ratio, right? It's obviously looked very favorable. Just for those of you who maybe by chance haven't seen it, I'll go ahead and display it. This is, again, why Litecoin is one of my key plays here. Taking a look at Bittrex, we can see here, going off the log chart just to really show it here at scale, right? We are very, very close to the entry zone. The weekly having one of its most interesting technical patterns, a double bottom here towards this kind of range that we get optimistic. And anytime we get down towards this range, it's very, very soon or very likely that we're going to get an accelerated rally. We've seen it multiple times in the past. Ethereum as well. Same exact pattern as Litecoin on the USD chart, right? But the thing is, we're a little bit ahead of time. It's one of the larger cap cryptos. It's already built up support on previous resistance and broken out here. Again, we were talking about this for the past few weeks and months. This is why we were long Ethereum. I still hold a decent position in Ethereum as a crypto. And I think it's going to continue to go out eventually to set all-time highs and accelerate towards even higher levels if it can properly scale. This is one of my biggest concerns about Ethereum. But at the same time, scaling, I think, in the short term is really not going to affect ETH's price. So again, focus on these large caps, guys. That's the key thing I think that we're going to have to focus on. Definitely still long crypto, not trying to generally take profits from the space, just cycling between the positions that I feel are undervalued at the time. Now, we've talked about crypto. One thing I want to talk about, and this goes to not only cryptocurrency markets, it doesn't just go to gold and silver, it really goes to everything. And that's what's happening with central bank monetary policy. I know I've hit on this point before, but I want to re-emphasize just how important what we're seeing is right now. So the Fed just had their FOMC meeting yesterday. As we talked about, the Fed did practically nothing. They kept things unchanged. Rates stay the same. Most programs generally stayed the same in regards to quantitative easing, right? Nothing shocking there. But the Fed, sooner or later, according to what's happening with the dollar index, so basically the general performance of the dollar against other foreign currencies, with the CME prediction markets, and most importantly, with treasury yields. This is the 10-year treasury yield we're taking a look at. This is each candle represents 3 months. So since back here in the 80s, treasury yields have been on a general decline. But it looks like within the next quarter or so, the 10-year yield could go down to 0%, if not negative. What does that tell us? When the market, right? Market right now is showing us the treasury yields that we're almost going towards negative. What does that tell you? Well, it tells you that the Federal Reserve is getting very, very close to negative interest rates. Jay Powell can say that they're never going to do it. They can say that it's not a possibility. But we've seen what happens in Japan and Europe. The same exact rules are at play. This is the thing that you have to understand. Ignore the euro versus the dollar, the labels. They all operate under the same structure. There is an inevitable flaw when you stimulate things too far. Rates can only go so low until they start to turn negative. Now, what does this mean, right? Most of you really don't dabble in treasuries or bonds. Could you go long bonds? Yeah, there's ETFs like TLT, and as you can see, as the yields drop, the treasuries start to do well. They're right back, nearly back to their all-time highs for the 20-year treasury bond ETF, right? So if you've been long bonds, done pretty good. I mean, definitely not as good as like crypto and equities, but still really good for bonds. I mean, back here since November 2018, since the Fed started to revert monetary policy. But the thing I want to talk about with this is we're talking about trillions of dollars in treasury markets. Tens and then hundreds of trillions of dollars in the greater bond market. So understanding this, we need to know what this impact is going to have on cryptocurrency markets. It's going to be good. It's going to be great because people are going to be looking for assets abroad. It's going to be beneficial for commodities, and it's also going to be beneficial for equities. But there's one thing to keep in mind here. Right now, the 4 big tech companies, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, and Facebook, Alphabet being Google, and also the next 6 companies, the majority or the biggest chunk of this being Microsoft, another major tech giant that just kind of gets ignored sometimes. They, in total, are worth trillions upon trillions of dollars, many of which are stepping very close to the $2 trillion mark. Apple, very close. Amazon, very close. Alphabet might pop up here in the near future. I know that Microsoft as well is very close to $2 trillion. I just want to ask you all a very personal question here. And I think it's very relevant as an investor to consider. Would you want to buy a company at $2 trillion? Because many of you out there, who are in crypto, you're expecting multiples of doubling your money, tripling your money. As a macro trader, I do the same thing. I like to find out where I can park my capital that's going to have the best return. It's not really being greedy at the end of the day. It's just being smart. If you're willing to do the dedicated research, you deserve the kind of results that you can get. Okay? In order for a $2 trillion company to double, it needs to go to $4 trillion in valuation. Now, it's not to say that in this world of the Federal Reserve living in la-la land alongside other central banks and printing as much money as they want, that they can't get to $4 trillion. What do you think is more likely? In the next year, do you believe that Apple is going to go not only towards a $2 trillion valuation, or even let's just take it at its current valuation, right? $1.7 trillion. Do you think a $3.4 trillion valuation is going to be reasonable in 2021? Do you really want to take that risk? And how long do you think it would stay at that valuation even if it could make it? On the other hand, I can say quite confidently that silver could easily double and hold those levels and possibly climb even higher. I can tell you that Bitcoin could do the exact same, that hundreds of different altcoins are going to do that, if not more. So are we changing our focus? I'm not personally. The only adjustments I'm making are circulating within the crypto market. And this is the key goal while I constantly talk about market to scale. Bitcoin is such a small market. It's sitting at a $200 billion market cap right now. And that's not even deducting the loss to Bitcoin. It's not deducting all of the different types of things that we need to consider here when we're taking a look at Bitcoin as an asset. Give or take, there's $150, $160 billion of Bitcoin out there that's actually available right now at the moment. With the halving event, with the amount of institutional demand we've already seen, get ready for a bumpy ride, guys. It's going to be exciting. So I know I've rambled on enough today. If you like this video, please consider dropping a like down below. But all in all, everyone, I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Stay tuned, everyone.